Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 15 of 30 anchors in 30 days. Now, this is the online training that gives you a platform for you to use your faith to bring transformation to the 11 most important life domains. Now, these 11 life domains are grouped into 3 relationship groups. You want to find out more about this? I've done a training which I'm giving to you for free. If you're on Instagram, just click on my bio and you find the link. There are 3 life relationship groups. Anywhere else, just click on the link right below this video. Let's go straight into today's conversation. Now, today we're going to be going into the 6th life domain. Now, this 6th life domain is your parental life domain. Today's foundational truth is this: kids are for who they become, not who they are. I repeat, kids are for who they become, not who they are. Hi Femi, thanks very much for joining me. Now, the text of scripture we're going to be coming around is in Malachi chapter 2 verse 15. Didn't the Lord make you one with your wife? In body and in spirit you are his. And what does he want? Godly children from your union. So guard your heart. Remain faithful to the wife of your youth. Now, depending on which society which you find yourself in, each society defines children, defines kids differently. Now, for certain societies, they define kids as the exclusive preserve of the state. For certain societies, they define the kids as primarily the exclusive reserve of the family, the community in which you find yourself. But scripture here is saying that, look, the whole purpose of why you come together to have kids is so that God can have a godly offspring. I repeat, God is saying the goal reason of why he brings husband and wife together to have kids is so that he can have a godly offspring through that relationship. Meaning that God's primary interest in that relationship when it comes to you having kids is to have godly offspring. But really, how does that fit into the logic of everything in terms of how we are saying what we are communicating? It simply means that, look, when you raise your kids, the first thing that should be at the back of your mind is that, look, you want to raise people who will be able to make decisions for God when they grow up. It means that when you are raising them, what you are raising them is to create a foundation that allows them to have godly thinking. Now, I know when I was growing up, there were different stories of different families in which the mother and the father, they were lawyers, and so they raised all the kids to be lawyers. The mother and the father, they were accountants, so they raised all the kids to be accountants. But what the Bible is telling us here is that, look, as Christians, mother and father, you're Christians, what you should be raising your kids to be is raise your kids to be Christians, people who can make a choice for God. Now, in the practicality of implementing this, how does it feel? I think to help us out, I'm going to give a bit of a personal story. Now, there was a time in which my office transferred me to live in Europe, and during that time, when it came to the point where we had to make a choice of a school for my little boy at that point in time, our choices were down to 2 schools. Now, so there were different options. There were different reasons which we considered. Now, both schools taught in 3 languages, and one of the languages was English. Check. That was good point for us. Now, the second point which we also evaluated them was that the first school which we evaluated, they said that, look, even though we teach in 3 languages, but we don't have a structured timetable in terms of saying, okay, at this particular point in time, we're teaching this particular language. We are fluid with the language in terms of everything just being spoken throughout the course of the year. Okay, throughout the course of the class. Okay, now the second school said, oh, we have a structured calendar. There are different timetables, and at this particular point in time, this is the language they are speaking. This is the language they are speaking. Okay, good. Now, the third consideration was now this. The first school said, hey, we are just a general school. The second school said, oh, we are a Catholic school. Now, for us, at that point in time, for people like us coming from Nigeria going into Europe, one thing was clear that, look, there are certain things which back in Nigeria we consider unusual that every other person probably in Europe considers to be normal. And so it was very important for us to realize that, look, we needed to have an environment whereby our kids could meet with families who had mindsets similar to what we consider to be normal in our own perspective. And so in our choice, it was pretty straightforward. We had to choose the second school for two reasons. Why? In terms of the technical aspect, having a structured calendar for different classes with different language spoken, check, that worked perfectly. And then also being a Catholic school, it's not necessarily because we are expecting them to teach him Catholic things or whatever. It was primarily because of the parents which we believe would be exposed to. And this introduces something which most of you probably are not familiar with, and that is the fact that up until the 18th century, middle of the 18th century, when the Industrial Revolution came into play, the center for learning for kids was actually within the family. In terms of, so for example, the mother and the father, they did all their business, whether it is farming, whether it is artisan skills, they did everything within the family. And so the kids learned from the parents, and in turn, not only did they learn skills for professional life in terms of work from the parents, but they also learned values and whatever. They learned it from the families. They learned it within the family. But within the middle of the 18th century, when the Industrial Revolution came up and they started having factories, so you found out that the parents started leaving the house and actually going outside to work. And let me tell you a bonus, in case you probably didn't realize, even kids started working. Why? Because most of those factories felt that they needed kids who had certain body size to be able to navigate between equipment. And that's very, very funny that kids actually started going to work primarily because of being able to manipulate themselves between different equipment. But as things transitioned, you now started having school structure whereby kids would leave because mother and father were going to work in the factories, and so you needed to have a school system whereby they could be responsible for training up the kids. Now, what I'm trying to explain with all this is this: the school system and all other systems that evolved post the Industrial Revolution was set up to help the parents in the responsibility of caring for and raising the children. And so what you have to always remember is that, look, the primary responsibility for raising up your child still lies with you as the parent. And so don't think that, because you send them to a good school, that the responsibility falls on the school. They are meant to be your helpers. They are just helping you to do the job. And so it is your responsibility first and foremost to establish certain values. So for example, I've had the opportunity of discussing with parents in which they tell me that, look, there are different days within the family life that they try to be available and create different things within the family, create different experiences, create different learning and shared experiences for the children. I remember a father who was saying that, look, he has a sort of rite of transition that he's created for his kid when he transitions from when he transitions into his teens. And one of the things which he does is that, look, he has different godly men that he has his son spend the day with. And the whole idea here is this: the boy gets to spend the day with them, asking them different questions about life, about everything. And I remember when he was talking about the experience, that, look, hey, the kid really, really enjoyed that opportunity of talking with other grown-up men, asking them questions about life. And this is when I heard that story, I said, this is a parent that has understood that, look, even though the responsibility for me raising my kid lies with me, I am able to call in others to help. Because the son in this particular case was able to ask questions which he probably would not have asked his parents. And one of the things which the father said he realized was that, look, his son was comfortable with these people, and that was the reason why he chose them. Today's foundational truth, once again, I repeat it, is this: kids are for who they become and not who they are. Irrespective of whichever society you find yourself in, that the society defines what children are, you need to remember that what God defines children as is godly seed. The whole intention of God for you in marriage, for having kids, is so that He would have a godly seed, a seed that will propagate His kingdom. And so you need to ask yourself on a constant level, on a constant basis, what are you doing to facilitate the raising up of a godly seed? And what you need to do at every point in time is realize that, look, every single decision counts, and you cannot delegate the responsibility for parenting. Yes, you can call in help from places like your school, like even your church system, like even the friends that you have around you. You can call in help, but realize that the ultimate responsibility for raising up a godly seed lies with you. And with that, we come to the end of today's conversation. Thank you once again for joining me. I look forward once again to also having you tomorrow. It's also same time, 7 a.m. And as you go out today, I pray that God himself would give you wisdom to be able to excel in life. I pray that the challenges that you're going to face today will not overwhelm you, but you will find peace in the midst of every single challenge that you're going to find. I want to wish you a great day, a wonderful Monday, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you very much.